Over the past year, the real estate industry in Canada has encountered surprising trends during the uncertainty and confusion of the COVID-19 pandemic. In the summer of 2021, we find ourselves in a seller's market, in which multiple offer scenarios are frequently occurring. Some salespeople in Manitoba have found it challenging to navigate the pandemic market, noting in particular the difficulties of establishing a market value for their property listings. In this BRITE lesson, we'll take a look at why it is so important to establish an accurate market value for listings in the current climate. We'll also consider the expectations of both buyers and sellers and provide you with tips to ensure that your clients are best served in times like these, all while you avoid certain pitfalls that are sometimes associated with the seller's market. Before we begin, take a moment to reflect on these 3 questions. First, what steps do you take to establish the market value of the properties that you list? Second, how do you advise your clients based on the market value of their property? Manitoba, like much of the country, has experienced surges in property sales during the COVID-19 pandemic. The rise of this seller's market has led to increased sale prices and frequent multiple offer situations. Because of these sudden circumstances, many salespeople experience difficulties establishing market values for their listings. Now that the industry has caught up with the trends, salespeople are better positioned to use recent market data to better price their listings. Understanding how to adapt to these circumstances is critical because misleading or encouraging sellers to list their properties below accurate market values could position a salesperson offside of the Real Estate Brokers Act and the Manitoba Securities Commission. At the beginning of June 2021, the Manitoba Securities Commission released a notice to all trading registrants, reminding them that there are guidelines in place that registrants must follow when dealing with real estate listings and multiple offer situations. In particular, the Commission reminds registrants that the definition of fraud in the Act includes any course of conduct or business calculated or put forward with intent to deceive the public or the purchaser or the vendor as to the value of real estate. Deliberately undervaluing a property in a listing, i.e. underlisting, in order to create a bidding war, qualifies as fraud under the Act, as the listing agent is deceiving the public and creating an interest in the property for buyers who are not qualified to purchase the property at the price the vendor is expecting to accept. In addition, advising a vendor to list a property below market value also qualifies as fraud under the Act. If the Commission receives a complaint alleging that a listing agent underlisted a property, it will be up to the agent to demonstrate how they determined the listing price. If the agent is found to have deliberately underlisted the property, appropriate disciplinary action will be taken. Listing a property within a suitable range of its market value will ensure that you remain on side of the Act and the Commission, while also benefiting both the seller and potential buyers. Both sellers and buyers have expectations that are directly tied to the listing price. A property that is underlisted is likely to attract buyers who will write an offer to purchase with an offer price that reflects the underlisted listing price. Buyers expect to be eligible purchasers of a property when they write an offer to purchase, and they make this determination largely based on the listing price. This is particularly an issue when buyers have sought pre-approval for mortgages. If a buyer consistently finds themselves making an offer on a property that sells for much more, they will become frustrated and possibly lose faith in the industry. Ultimately, when you advise the seller about the appropriate market value for their property, the seller needs to understand that the list price must reflect the market value of the property. So, how can the listing agent help a seller set a price that enables both the seller's expectations and the buyer's expectations to be met? It begins with a carefully and skillfully developed comparative market analysis. While it is outside of the scope of this lesson to review the full process, here are 6 simple tips to help you identify a suitable range within which your seller can set a listing price. 1. Make sure that you list active, pending, and sold properties under the status field. The different status, including the property's number of days on market, will provide insight on how readily buyers are willing to accept certain prices for comparable properties. 2. For the sold date, begin with a period of 30 days and extend this period only as necessary. You can increase the range by an additional 30 days until your search produces enough results for a reasonable comparison. 3. Use a reasonable plus or minus range when entering the square feet. This variance will help to account for other differences between the properties. 4. Be flexible in your selection, such as including properties with different types of parking. Again, you are not likely to find an exact match, so a degree of flexibility combined with critical consideration will help. 5. Review the property results to ensure their suitability before including them in your model. Six. Most importantly, pay extra attention to the sold-to-list ratio. The sold-to-list ratio will indicate the vibrancy of the market being evaluated and will aid in determining the market value, while also taking note of each of the comparable properties' listing and selling prices for any indication of a possible trend. These details will help to ensure the seller is not underpricing their property based on their home's condition and features. Creating a strong CMA can be difficult, but it is your best strategy in these circumstances. For additional tips, resources, and/or assistance with competitive market analysis and skillful use of the MLS system, please contact Jeff Stern of the Winnipeg Regional Real Estate Board at jstern@wrreb.ca. As members of the industry, salespeople must all work together to ensure the integrity of the profession and to maintain the public's confidence in the market. If a colleague suggests to you that your listing price may not be reflective of the property's market value, take the feedback as an opportunity to get another person's perspective or to review your own practice. You may learn a new strategy, hone your skills, or even identify something that you overlooked. Shifting trends in the market can make it challenging to establish proper listing prices, so it is important that all registrants guide their practices with these points in mind. First, registrants have an obligation to list properties at market prices. And second, a salesperson who enables a client to list a property below market value will be offside of the Real Estate Brokers Act and the Manitoba Securities Commission if they cannot defend their method of establishing the property's market value. Taking the time to establish an accurate market value for your properties will not only facilitate a successful sale, but it will help to foster a strong image for the real estate industry.